And it's off, guys. Okay, so this is going to be game 2 of the best of 3 series between the LRK team and MorroW plus Beastyqt team on Resupply Tanker. MorroW's team is up 1-0, so it was Knight and Lillekanin who decided to choose this map here, Resupply Tanker. And we're going to see what's going to happen here. So in the top team we have Knight as the teal Zerg and Lillekanin as the green Terran. Whereas in the bottom team we see that Beastyqt and Random already spawned a second time as Zerg, pink Zerg here, and his ally the red Terran MorroW. So it's going to be another mirror matchup, and this Terran random comp that they're doing is really playing in their favor. Like, big issue about Terran Zerg versus Terran Zerg mirror matchup is the build orders. You know, how greedy the Zergs can be with their 15 hatch, how many corners the Terran can cut to get his command center out while still doing his 1-1-1 and stuff like that. So not knowing what the race is here is really detrimental for the top team. And this map is going to be very interesting. Some Terrans like to wall off here, like MorroW's doing. I think it's a smart choice. Other Terrans don't like to wall off. Lillekanin probably is not walling off because in the case if it was a Terran or a Terran Protoss, walling off would probably not be a very good choice. He is, however, going for proxy racks. So this is going to be some proxy Reapers going on. They realize that they need to take the initiative. They chose this map specifically, I think, to do some kind of style like this, to take some risks. They got to take some risks here. We're seeing the 10 pool this time for Knight. They're going to return the favor here, and we got a 14 pool here for Beastyqt. So he's not going super greedy because he knows it's Terran Zerg, and they don't really have a lot of scouting information just yet. But they also know that the top team doesn't quite know what they're up to, and unfortunately the Zergs spawn in cross position, so the Overlords didn't meet. So both teams don't really know what each other are doing. Top team doesn't know that it's a Zerg, and bottom team does not know that the top is doing this 2-rack Reaper rush. This is going to be really all-in. This is going to be something pretty much where if they don't do enough damage, it's going to be a game over for them. He's going to mine 100 gas, and he's going to pull off, going to get speed, and then from now on he's just going to start pumping out lings. Whereas Lillekanin delaying his orbital to get the second racks out earlier, and is just going to go out there. They're going to poke in with the first Reaper. It's going to reveal what's going on, and MorroW decide to go for an 11 gas Hellions build. So he walls off completely, but this is going to be a big problem here. So Beastyqt, he doesn't have speed, and speed's going to be really late. He has a few links here to 8, so they need to stall as much as possible. The big issue here is the MorroW's infrastructure is right at the wall. So his factory is not even finishing, and he's not even making any units out here. He's going to get a Marine or something. All he can really do is just win as much time with the Lings, but the Lings also don't want to get captured by the SCVs. Sometimes SCVs can work. Beastyqt, realizing that his ally there's just no way of saving him, is just going to counterattack. Going to counterattack Lillekanin because he realizes that the racks were proxied, so there's probably nothing blocking off. So this is going to be really down to Lillekanin's multitasking. Can he micro the Reapers? You can already see here he's trying to like micro the Reapers at the same time micro his SCVs. He might want to just pull them and send them. And Teal Zerg, Knight sending some Lings over to Lillekanin's base to help him here. But more importantly, let's take a look here at the factory. The factory's almost done here, while MorroW's SCVs are all the way at his ally's base, so he's just lifting. And once the speed is done here, this is going to be big. So we lost all the workers here for the Terrans. Both Terrans are pretty much no eco, almost out. The only difference here is that Beastyqt has roaches in a spine, whereas Knight has Lings and has the Reaper support. So Reapers can heal and he can pick off, but he wants to keep those Reapers alive. Got to keep them alive at all costs. And he's starting to mine again, slowly but surely. These SCVs here sort of in the back corner. So this is going to be a really interesting, very quick game maybe, if both teams don't stabilize. The Lings are just streaming in here. I don't know about this. Maybe they wanted to wait for a few more, but they feel pretty confident in these Reapers, and if they pick off like a queen or two, the thing about the roaches is, as long as it's only 2 or 3 roaches, the Reapers can kill them while the Lings tank, but if it's like 5 or 6 roaches, they can start pushing out here and secure then the top ramp area for the Terran, red Terran, and he can get back into the game. So right now we see this barracks floating. Not sure if he wants to wall this section off here or if he wants to wall, so he decides to wall this over here. I like here that sort of the ninja supply here hasn't been spotted, so you can still build some stuff here. And now the transfuses here on the roaches. So we had, this is what I'm talking about, 5 or 6 roaches here, and the Reaper is sort of being caught off here. There's 3 roaches here at the high ground, but at the same time he needs to get these Reapers out. This is all really that they have for map control and pressure, because Teal Zerg right now needs to make as many drones as possible. He needs to be able to macro up to make sure that he doesn't fall behind, although Beastyqt as well is sort of struggling in there to decide what to spend his 2 or 3 larvae on here. It really, every decision, small decision here, could make or break the game at this point. Now we see these Reapers are just going to float around here. They're trying to see if there's anything else hidden in here. There's one Ling here working on this refinery, because why not? But at the same time, we see here now that these roaches and Lings are pushing out. Maybe they were talking about this. They were trying to figure out, should we push, should we defend? And he's saying to himself, well, they only have Reapers, and I'm pretty sure that the other Zerg was droning, so he might not even have Lings. Maybe if I just waltz up here. But this bunker, even if it's just with Reapers, if the SCVs are repairing, the roaches really can't do anything. So it's going to turn into a big of a stalemate here. Reapers got to stay at home, and at the same time here, the bottom team is starting to regain their footing. MorroW here had a lot of energy, so he's getting a lot of mules. That's going to get a good amount of minerals inside. He already has 400 minerals, but he needs the gas, because it really boils down to these tech units like Hellions or even Banshees. Could be really big. One Banshee or just 2 or 3 Hellions could really tip the tide here in these small little minute battles. We'll also see the Zerg here getting his natural here. Knight is also getting his roaches. He decides not even to bother with Lillekanin. He just wants to play catch-up here with these roaches. He wants to make sure that stalls as long as possible for his Terran ally to get back into shape. And this could actually work. I mean, we have 4 bunkers here from Lillekanin. He knows how back and forth sometimes these 2v2 games can go. He knows that sometimes it can just swing into your favor if one little micro mistake or something of the sorts. They also don't know what other tech, maybe there's a Baneling nest, or the Terran was feeding him, or some Hellions are going to run in here. They don't really know what's going on here. And it looks like they instead are deciding to go on the Zerg. Now, I'm not 100% sure about this. They might get a few drones, but I'm pretty sure the top team is going to be able to clean up these roaches without too much significant damage. Like, if we look at the harvester count right now, Teal still has a lot of harvesters, so without those roaches, Beastyqt is sort of giving up his map presence, and now the layer can really kick in. And on top of that, the green Terran is in a much stronger position right now than the red Terran. Higher supply count, higher unit comp, right? We have all these bio units here, and he has infrastructure, whereas red Terran here only really has factory and 1 barracks. All he can really do at this stage is just really focus on these Hellions here. They're going to be able to hold the ramp, at least for a good amount of time, but it's just going to stall long enough until we get the mutas going here. Sorry about the noise, guys. I think my neighbors here are on fire or something. And it looks like there's some more engagements here. These queens got pulled and baited to the natural, left their little positioning, and now the top team is flooding reinforcements to the bottom. They didn't anticipate these many Marines here attacking the natural, and so he sort of got caught out of position. He was a little bit overconfident since he had the creep here. But those queens are now dead, and now the bottom team really doesn't have any answer to this Mount Bio. Lillekanin doing a good job of spreading, and they're going to try to find a little counter-attack venue here. They know that the layer tech is on its way. They know that it's a dire situation. They have to make something happening. And the 1-1-1 is still on its way. Maybe a Cloak Banshee can save the day. We've seen how MorroW's control and his multitasking have helped him in last game and some of the other games in the series. So hopefully he can pull something out here. And interesting enough, Lillekanin is not even bothering to go into factory, into starport for medevacs or whatnot. He just wants to keep cranking out units here and getting those add-ons for upgrades, just to make sure that his Bioforce is just that much scarier. And we see some Banelings here coming in here, and the explosions, all the drones getting hit. So this is going to be exactly what they need to stay in this game at this point. Trying to get as many drones as possible. just to delay those mutas, to dilute the power of the mutas. But we still see these 9 mutas coming out. It's going to be really big. Another reason why Lillekanin didn't opt to go for factory or starport is that he's probably feeding all of his double gas. He's only been making marines, so he's feeding all his gas here right now to Knight, because Knight, barely struggling there with the economy of the constant Ling run bys and harass, needs to get those mutas out, because the mutas are going to be the winning factor in this game. This orbital trying to come over here, but MorroW's just spreading himself thin here with no real units or static defense to be able to counter these mutas here. He's trying to stall as much as possible with these Hellions. They're going to get picked off, but he's just running away here. And Knight realizes this. He doesn't even bother chasing them. He realizes every second is precious. He needs to do as much damage as possible before the static defense starts coming up. The eBay just finishes here. MorroW's going to probably put down some turrets. There goes the first turret. Another turret over here to try to ward off. It's going to be a few seconds too late here. The mutas are just swooping in just as all these buildings are getting swapped. And the Marines, 2 Marines here defend off the mutas. The SCV that was building the turret falls off. SCV is desperately trying to finish this turret here. And the turret is getting repaired. Knight needs to back off. This turret is not going to die with that many SCPs repairing it. And he's going to be able to pick off this here. But more importantly, he's starting working on these very precious add-ons here. The stim upgrade falls down, and the reactors will probably be next shortly. Beastyqt opting to go the only thing that he could muster here, 1 base infestors. Why not when you're in this kind of dire situation? This is probably the correct answer. Some fungals here with a few marines and few remaining units that MorroW has here might be able to clean up these mutas, but it's an uphill battle from here on out. Top team doing a very good job. Their initial opening building, sorry guys, the initial build order they opted for was a hard counter from what they saw in the first game. They realized the kind of risky plays and edge-cutting plays that the bottom team is willing to go to get the win, and so they went for a blind build order that actually secured them a decent advantage and is now turning this game into their favor. So props to them for mustering the courage to play such a risky style in a game that probably would have mattered, because if they had gone a lot standard, it's hard to say how it would have turned out as a Terran Zerg mirror matchup on this map. And now we're seeing all the add-ons of MorroW being decimated here. And Lillekanin getting his 3rd comfortably, Knight getting his 3rd comfortably, both of the bottom team players. At this stage of the game, it's probably just a psychological warfare. They're just trying to whittle down the stamina and the endurance of the top team, fighting as hard as they can just to strain out the top team's efforts for the next game, because it's going to boil down to the 3rd game. So the bottom team just wants to make sure that the top team has a fight for their money. And good fungals stalling even further from Beastyqt. And these constant Ling run bys. I mean, I can't stress it long enough, but it's really hard to find moments where you can just take a breather and you can just tell yourself, I'm constantly under pressure, but I'm just going to send a small group of units here on the other side of the map to try to divert their attention, to get some breathing room. This is exactly what they need. And it looks like the top team did destroy here this artifact, allowing to make it harder for the bottom team to get some Ling run bys in here. Top team just macroing up here. We see gigantic production line here of Lillekanin falling down, the upgrades for the Teal Zerg, and bottom team sort of stabilized, but they're in such a dire situation right now in terms of their tech and their eco and their bases and their supply and everything. It's going to be incredibly rough here. We got some nice creep spread here from Beastyqt, almost coming up to the main base of Lillekanin, getting cleaned up a little bit there. A lot of infestors. These are probably the most cost-efficient units you can get from one base. Beastyqt doing an excellent job doing that. And it looks like there was a little bit of disagreement as to who was going to take the gold. Looks like both MorroW and Beastyqt wanted to take the gold here. They decided not to do so, and some good fungals here, but the medivacs are out healing the damage of the fungals. A lot of the Marines in red just needs an extra little bit few units here. But now here come the mutas. The GG mutas are just going to fly in, swoop in, and there is the GG. Good game, guys. Excellent execution by the top team, and a strong, strong defense from the bottom team, bringing the game series now into a 1-1 tie. This is a best of 3. It's the quarterfinals, whoever wins this game will proceed to the semifinals and play against the Polish team.